generated on the spot. And with that said, because I want to respect your time, you and I had a chat the other day of how I mentioned briefly this project I'm thinking about working on, and you being this Olympic level listener, you had, well, I hear this word, I hear that word, and I'm like, hold on, am I being like shadow coached right now? What's happening here? And we agreed that maybe we'll do a little bit of this on the call. So are you still up for doing that?
Sure.
Okay.
I was just offering different perspectives, helping you see things in a different way, because I know from experience that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So,
right. Well, but I could just tell that, like, when we got to that part of the conversation, that really just happened organically. We were just having a chat, and I could tell, like, your focus changed. You started writing things down, and I'm like, hold on. I just entered another side here, and so okay. So to start off, I've been playing with the idea for maybe 2 weeks now of writing a nonfiction book on a specific topic, which I'm not going to share. But so right when I had the idea, I really thought about it, and I'm like, well, I don't know how to write a book. I've never written a book before. I'm a pretty voracious reader, and I've written things before, but this would be more like research based and maybe adding in my own life as a narrative for certain demonstrative purposes and analogies. And so I basically wrote to a dozen book mentors, book coaches out there, and I found one who I had a really amazing long chat with, and she was saying, well, you need to drill down for exactly what this idea is going to be. So you can basically, you're proving a thesis in this book. You're providing this book to the world, and it's a thesis that you have. And so, after that, of course, I bought 4 or 5 books in that same genre on the same topic with the same reader. I've read through 3 of them so far, and they've been producing all of these other ideas, but a lot of these people are like academics. A couple aren't, but one that I'm reading right now is from someone who's like a respected journalist and all these things. And so the more I read these things, even though I had different ideas, I was all like my identity was completely collapsing in front of me. It was like, okay, I'm not this type of person. I'm not, this isn't the realm that I'm in. Am I biting off more than I can chew, only to set myself up for like a supreme level of disappointment, of which I will then have to reckon with. So, and with all that said, I'm still.
Do you actually, sorry to interrupt you, but do you actually think that the world needs another person at that level that says exactly the same thing? Or is there a chance that the world might need to hear things around this topic from you in a more maybe simple way, more maybe it's just your style, right?
Maybe I could use like a pop-up book, and it could be with crayons. And
the thing is, well, first and foremost, you are creating a language, so you are exploring a possibility, and the first thing that you do, and I'm not making it personal. This is really a behavioral pattern that has a specific thinking pattern behind it, which is the pattern of creating overwhelm, which is a self-induced state, right? So what you did, you just came up as a creative, beautiful human being that you are, that want to be expressed and that want to share a relevant message with the world. So you were, for a little moment, you spend a little bit of time in the realm of wonder and imagination and in creativity. And then you said, oh, well, wait a minute, but I have to do this, and this. And so you shifted from the state of being a creator and a powerful one and a generative and super duper creative and prolific one to being a student. So guess what you are doing? So the being is always doing the doing. When you shift from that perspective to the student identity and you embrace that identity, what do? You buy yourself courses, you buy yourself more books. Do you think that at your age you haven't read enough books to actually come up with a very simple outline of what you would love to share with the world that could guide your thoughts. So first, you need to embrace the identity. So the outcome goal is possibly writing a book, and you still have to make a decision, a clear, precise, and powerful decision about that then will be backed by commitment, and commitment will show up in consistent daily actions. But first, you still have to make that decision. And before you make that decision, you need to really create enough clarity. But for some reason, clarity of vision is always a step that kind of gets neglected. And people step in the how-to, which is the last bit of the process. So let me get more books. And when I'm reading those books, I'm actually investing my energy and time in that direction. So the likelihood of you disappearing for a while, being in your own cave of researching and gaining knowledge instead of sharing your wisdom with other people, totally different thing, is very, very high. And that's the reason why most intentions that are set, most of the time at New Year's Eve, but also in other circumstances, right, don't see the light in reality, because we overwhelm we overwhelm ourselves. And I want to go back to the concept of momentum that we haven't touched before. Look, a moving object is always moving unless you stop it, unless you create resistance or friction. Movement, like momentum, takes care of itself because life is movement. But what we do with our internal narrative and with our, we call it rackets or strategies to keep us safe and to keep us playing small, we just come up with great reasons or justifications for not being prepared enough, not being good enough. And the underlying thought is, who am I to dare to pursue this dream? And as Marianne Williamson says in the book Return to Law, say, who am I to be brilliant, to be gorgeous, to be talented, to be fabulous? Well, then, who are you not to be? You're a child of God, and you're playing small doesn't serve the world. You're being humble doesn't serve the purpose of being fully self-expressed. You have your breath, you have a brilliant mind, you have a powerful voice, well then use it. Connect with your message, and instead of doing fake work, gaining more, hoarding more information, start calming your mind, silencing the noise, the mental noise and the chatter, really taking care of your emotional state so that when you need to do the work, you show up in a very high quality, conducive state. And just express your magic in words. And when you organize your thoughts in writing, that's when mind-blogging things happen that could have a ripple effects in the world of other people.
I appreciate all of that, because I've been pretty cognizant of like not reading as an exercise of perpetual delaying, and though I don't know, the God portion doesn't really go far with me, but the part that really does.
I was just quoting Marianne Williamson.
Right. And I was just thinking, like, because I've scheduled a call with that mentor again for tomorrow, because there's so many unknown unknowns for me. Like there's like known unknowns I can deal with, but unknown unknowns for like how to structure this book and how to do all this research. And what I've been coming upon reading these different books is, especially the latest one, which is quite good, but it has me like, parts of it has me angry. Like, why is this person saying this or what? And so it really has really generated some emotions in me that has me think like, maybe I should write this. And I think,
or maybe you could choose to write that.
Right.
Instead of maybe I should. write this.
Right. God, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, as you can tell, I like that word too much. But yeah, and because I think sometimes I realize I do have that big fear response for something that I will care about. Like if it's a project that really means a lot to me, then that fear response is more trigger sensitive than working on something that doesn't have such large emotional resonance. And so I think I try to look at it like an experiment, like the business brokerage that I'm launching the site of soon. I'm like, okay, this is just going to be an experiment. I'm going to take the courses. I'm going to go out and try to meet some people and contacts. I'm going to build this site, and then I'm going to do a few deals, and then see how I feel. And that has taken all of the pressure off of it having to be one thing or another. And I'm trying to do that with the same book project, being like, okay, I'm going to get as much information as I can, at least I understand the world that I'm getting into. But then once I make that decision, then it's a commitment to doing it until like I actually hit a wall, and I think I should stop or just keep going. But I don't know. I want to make sure in a nonfiction book, what I've been thinking about often is that I don't want to go. I want to have my thesis, but I would like the thesis to be backed by research and evidence that maybe will change my mind on some things. I don't want to go out there just with opinions. I would like to, build a strong reservoir of data.
That is good. My point is simply that, and this is also my invitation for you, because this is what will actually get you going, is that the research will go hand in hand with you taking actions.
Right.
So what we tend to do, and this is also a coping mechanism, a protection mechanism, right? Is the mind that is keeping us safe. We tend to say, okay, well, I want to do this, so I'm up for something big, but hey, let me be prepared first. And let me also indulge or overindulge a little bit, because there is a fine line between indulging and overindulging in our tendency of being perfectionists, right? And so I want to do things right. While in fact, there are skills that can be improved, gained, refined. So the conversation with this book coach, that I'm sure he's brilliant, would be very, very helpful. And you are in the realm of skills and knowledge, how to properly do something. But also, before all of that, there is knowing, intuition, wisdom. There is your unique perception and perspective about this topic. There is the gift of expression that you can choose to honor if you want to. And then everything can be clarified. And in the process, when you really decide to embark on that journey, well, you can course correct. But it's you really calling the shots.
Right. Yeah, I'm right now, I think I'm like 75% sure that I'm going to try to do this. And
what if I told you that ready is a decision? Ready is not a byproduct of external circumstances. You do not have to wait for other thing to happen so that you have some sort of confirmation that your idea is good. Ready is a decision. And you get to choose and make powerful decision every moment, every breath you take. So it's just about really silencing the noise, because when you silence the noise, you can listen to yourself, to your true self, not the person that you think you should be, in order to fit in, to be acknowledged as a good author or a brilliant author, to be part of a specific kind of community, instead of who you are. What is your heart telling you? This is actually creating heart and mind coherence. You start with the body, with your heart, which is where the wisdom lies, and then the mind follows. So this is what is meant by generating feelings first. It's connecting with your heart, with your inner wisdom, intuition. Really listen to what that voice says. So say, okay, I will figure things out, because everything is figure outable. This is a word that Marie Forleo uses a lot. Everything is figure outable. And if you have a belief that everything is figure outable, you will not stress so much about the unknown. And you will actually start enjoying the process of making the unfamiliar familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, because now I'm going through all my thoughts for all the things that you've said, and it's super valuable. I appreciate that, because because I think part of it is, and I think I think you're on the cusp of saying it, is that like it's not should I do this? It's thinking more of like I should do this. It's more I could do this. So it's like an option for something that I could reach out and grab if I wanted to. It's not something I need someone else to give me permission for.
When you hear in language, in your own narrative or in somebody else's narrative, should to, ought to, have to, you're talking about obligations, and nothing about it is about you. It all comes from expectations that you kind of embrace and you place upon yourself, and that are felt very much as obligation. Tony Robbins says you're shooting yourself all over. And when you are doing that, this is not facilitating or helping flow. And this is what I believe flow is. Flow is alignment with clarity. Aligned actions that are conducive and supportive to the vision that you want to create. Flow is not being passive and just wait for be positive.
Right.
Somewhat like that thing is just, what are you doing? Are you
right? Right. So it's not like waiting for you. You're not waiting for the universe to tell you to do something, because the universe doesn't really, in my opinion, the universe doesn't give a shit about you.
Universe.
I like that.
Universe.
I like
that a lot. You are spirit. You are power. You are impact. You are steadfast love.
Keep going. I'm not going to stop you. What else am I? Keep going.
You are flow. You are alignment. You are clarity and personal mastery. You are movement and decisive action. You own your desires. You claim your desires. You call the shots. You create your reality. You independently thrive.
I think that's a great place to end. And I think I'm going to take that last part of audio and use it as my wake up alarm for the next 10 years of my life. But Ylenia, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your light with us. I really appreciate you being here.
I love this kind of conversations. It's just how we can really share the light and make sure that people are inspired, that they feel good. And this is, I think that it's one person at a time. So when we do that and we can actually help people see things in a different way and inspire them to move into action and to do something great with our lives, this is the best gift that we could offer ourselves and others.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.